Hi everyone, my name is Jozef Jozefowski, also known as Giuseppe, but you can call me anything you like as long as you don't call me late for supper, okay? Here we go. There's a story, an unknown story of an actor. Early on in his career, wasn't doing very well. Not well at all. He kept facing roadblocks and challenges at every intersection. He was even homeless for a short time, and when given the option of paying rent, he had to sell his dog to do it. Would he ever make it big? Well, eventually he did, and some of you might know who I'm talking about already. But for those of you who don't, we'll talk about him towards the end of the slide over here. We're going to talk about the twofold advantages of film and the industry in Philadelphia here. We have the creative industries and the industries that are going to impact commerce. That's how we're going to do this little presentation. Here, this girl's looking into the virtual reality world of the future of Philadelphia film, in case anybody was wondering. Okay, let's start with the creative and collaborative industries. Ultimately, film is storytelling, like I just did. Storytelling that involves hundreds of people. Whether it be an informational video on how to do CPR or a major motion picture on the new zombie apocalypse, there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of departments that make up a production. There's a camera department, a grip, an electric, and an art department. The camera, you have to know how to use a camera. They're changing every day. You have to know how to compose shots. Grips and electrics, they create the mood with their light. And the art department builds the world. You have sound, hair and makeup, and special effects. The sound conveys emotion. You have to know how to compose a score of music, or how to accentuate the sound of a creaking floor. Hair and makeup, how is your makeup going to interact with the light and the camera that's being used? There's so many technological advances there. Oh, this is going pretty fast. Wardrobe and cast are two of the other ones that we're going to do here. They bring the story and the characters to life. Wardrobe, you're not going to have your characters going around without clothes on. They're either going to be wearing French revolutionary things or modern American. And the cast really bring it to life. Here in Philly, there's a production company, or a group of two guys on the ground with tape on their mouths. They're called Sal Fellini. They do their own screenplays and get everybody here in the picture. This is a small filmmaking community here in Philadelphia. And when there's no work usually in town, we work on movies to help make money, to make more movies, to get work, to make more movies and stuff like that. These are two of the movies that they made, Alpha Girls and American Exorcist, which is going to have its premiere on November 7th at the Troc, in case anybody's interested. They're both a little scary, but they're both a lot of fun to work on. And they allow different, either regardless of what work circle you're in, you can all work together at once. Here's another community called Rough Cuts. It's a filmmaking open mic night, basically. People who's had things screened at Cannes, or who've had Super Bowl ads, or who are just starting out, are allowed to screen their things, and everybody does creative criticism. Philadelphia Film Society. You may know them as the people who run the Prince Theater or the Roxy. And next week, they're also doing the International Philadelphia Film Festival. And they have a citywide appreciation for film that they try to perpetuate to all different communities and aspects here. Another Greater Philadelphia Film Office, we'll call it the base camp of film in Philly. If you're production, you're going to go to them. If you just started out here, you're going to go to them and say, hey, are there any internships anywhere? Are there any productions coming through that I can work on? And they constantly advocate for film in Philly. And let's sum this up. All these communities, all the people involved, Philly has the fire and the infrastructure. And this is a picture of a scene of a fire we did once. It was in the 1800s. This is at Girard College, where we made it look like it was burning down. It was a fun night, but nobody likes all-nighters. But yeah, it's the morning now. Impacting commerce. So we talked about the creative industry. Now, how's that going to impact commerce? Let me take a look here on my paper. There's a lot that goes on behind filmmaking. I just explained a little bit about you, but it affects our local economy as well. This slide's going to be over by the time I find my spot. All right, here we go. The people. the people in Philadelphia. This is the crew. These are some guys I work with. But not only is it the people working on productions, it's those who are bringing in the catering for the massive amounts of people sometimes. Those who are running the computer services for production offices. There's the materials, the building supplies. Who's going to build the sets? You're going to need to go, get in contact with, C&R, not Home Depot so much, but all the little guys over there on Washington Avenue. The rental trucks. Wardrobe. Philly has lots of theaters, and everybody is always mixing and mingling. These are some of the companies that grow and have been growing tremendously in the past years in Philly. There's a mix of ad agencies such as 160/90 and Eskimo, production companies such as Expressway and Center City Film and Video right in the middle there, and some studios. Sun Center's the big one down in Delco. Now, after movies come through town, post-production. We're going to have a cultural and economic impact. So the movie's left, but let's take, for instance, Rocky. After that, you're left with cultural, everyone knows who Rocky is, and merchandise that keeps selling at the airports, if you will, There's plenty. Okay, the guy who I talked about in the beginning, Sylvester Stallone. How many people knew that? Yay, a couple people. All right, and there's his dog, and he said, every champion was once a contender who refused to give up. And I see Philly as a contender who's going to refuse to give up. And one day, the Philly film industry is going to be on fire. Thanks, guys.